How far did you go in a game of truth or dare? I peed in the litter box in our basement. My mom thought the cat had a serious issue because it filled the whole box. My brother ratted on me, and my mom played the shit out of me by saying she was going to have to put the cat down because of a bladder issue. I cried and told her the truth. George Clooney loves pranks and apparently, pre-famous, cat sat for a friend but made a copy of the key. Then later after friend returned, he continued to clean the litter box until the friend casually mentioned the lack of cat poop. Then Clooney broke in one more time and took a dump himself in the litter box. Yesterday, I came home from work and was sitting on the couch with my wife. I noticed the corner of her phone screen was cracked. I asked what happened. She said Ted dared me to bite it really hard. Ted is my 8-year-old son. My wife bit her phone until it broke because her 8-year-old son dared her to. I'm now questioning all of my choices in life. A friend at 6th Form College, so age 16, was dared by a classmate to drink the whole of the communal bottle of vinegar that was on the cafeteria table, maybe 300 milliliters. He did it. He was off college for a week with, predictably enough, the kind of intestinal issues you would get from chugging acid. I had a crush on one of the girls at the party. She thought that I was an annoying brat. I wasn't her type at all. She was there to strip down to just her panties and go into a bedroom with me for 15 minutes. We started talking once we were in there. When they opened the door, I kicked it shut because we were making out. We didn't actually go all the way though. She was the first girl I ever saw topless. We dated for a year before going to college. We're both now married to other people. But it was an interesting experience. We came up with the house rules version of truth or dare. You could reject a dare, truth, but you had to lose an article of clothes. It was fun. It allowed people to reject stuff they may not want to do, while increasing the tension. To answer the question, we were mostly good high school kids, so we never went too far. Making out, topless females, or a bit of grinding was the high end. We were mostly good high school kids, so we never went too far. Making out, topless females, or a bit of grinding was the high end. That's the high end. The best thing I ever saw in high school was when I was hanging out with two friends on New Year's Eve. One guy, one girl, and the girl stripped down to her bra while on an Omegle chat and asked us to leave the room so she could flash the webcam. She was kind of flat-chested, but that moment in time was still awesome even if I barely saw anything. I played one game of truth or dare as a post-pubescent high school kid. We spent so much time rules lawyering about who could make which dares, and defining levels of comfort that people could agree to participate in what kinds of things, and where the lines were drawn, that we ended up barely playing at all and nobody did anything interesting. It's like we were all thinking, I hope somebody dares me to do some fun sex stuff, but nobody had the guts to dare anybody to do any fun sex stuff. Reminds me of a time in college. We were playing a variant of truth or dare where people were paired up, and the pair that lost a game had to do a dare. As part of my dares, I kissed a super attractive, but crazy, girl, and then had my first kiss with my soon-to-be, but now ex-girlfriend. My friend ends up losing the game while paired with his crush. They are dared to kiss. The girl started to cry. We were all pretty drunk, and said she didn't want to. He's a solid dude, so he obviously backed off immediately, but man, no coming back from that. Edit, to defend the girl a bit, as some of you are saying she should suck it up or whatever. She's a very emotional drunk and didn't have a lot of experience with guys. She also knew he had a crush on her. We also had an at least 10 seconds rule become normal for the kiss dares, so it wasn't a quick back or something. Probably worth mentioning earlier. She just felt really pressured and overwhelmed by the situation. I don't blame her at all, but, of course, that wouldn't make it hurt for my friend any less. I was at this basketball camp, around 15 years old at the time. We were playing truth or dare and our coach, who was a pretty fat dude, was just nearby chatting with some friends. He comes up to us just to check on us and crack a few jokes. Quickly somebody shouts truth or dare to him, and he jokingly says dare. I could have said anything, literally anything, and you know what I said? I dare you to lose 30 kilograms of fat in the next 10 minutes. Dead silence. He looks at me with a completely dead stare, then leaves without saying a word. I knew how much I truly fucked up as soon as I finished the sentence. We pretty much stopped playing in that exact moment. Everybody just went back to their respective room. Came back crying to him like 20 minutes later trying to apologize. To this day sometimes I still remember about it and I feel so shameful. When I was 16 there was a girl I really liked and she invited me over to play truth or dare with some of her cousins and brother. Long story short, they all dared me to run naked across this field which was way further than anyone had gone. Being a demos and wanting to impress the girl I did it. They took my clothing and locked the doors and I ended up having to run naked about 2 miles through neighborhoods back to my parents' house which was locked, so I had to ring the doorbell to get them to let me in. Most embarrassing moment of my life. She later said it wasn't her idea, but needless to say my crush was over at that point. Not me, but was a neighbor's fiancé. I lived in an apartment complex and we had some friends over and had also invited the new neighbors. A med school grad and his fiancée, nice enough couple and seemed pretty tame. Overall it was a pretty equal mix for guys/for girls, and the girls were all sitting at the kitchen table and guys were back and forth between the den and the patio to smoke. Hours go by and we're all pretty drunk and the girls had started taking shots and playing truth or dare. All the guys were out back and I'd come in to get another beer and use the restroom. While I'm coming out of the bathroom I hear the seemingly tame fiancé say truth. And one of the girls asks, have you ever had sex in exchange for something? I felt embarrassed at first. I'm thinking my perverted friends are corrupting this innocent young woman, prob 22-23. But I'm like, I got to hear this, so I walk back to the fridge and this girl looks back to make sure her fiancé isn't inside and she says, in college I asked a cute stranger at the liquor store to buy me some beer and he said only if I blew him. So I did. Lol, we weren't expecting that level of truth. I had my first kiss in a game of truth or dare. Wasn't the sweet or pleasant experience one may be imagining it to be, though. My class was taking an overnight field trip on a charter bus. The chaperones all fell asleep, so a few kids started playing truth or dare. I wasn't participating. I was just sitting in my spot reading a book. Then I hear one of the guys say, I dare you to kiss strawberry cocoa. I look up from my book to see this girl walking very slowly towards me, with just disgust all over her face. She leaned in extremely hesitantly, gave me a peck on the lips, then started flailing her hands and running away shrieking ee. Absolute confidence booster, that one. Pretty tame. I went to a Christian high school. But post-graduation senior year of high school I came back to my hometown after moving away my senior year. One of the girls wanted to have her first kiss before college and she wanted it to be with me because she thought I was experienced. So her friends got a game going to play TD so she could kiss me. It was my turn. I chose dare, and yeah, we both had our first kisses that night. I got dared to flash my crush when I was in 8th grade. The bitchy girl that dared me didn't think I would go through with it. It worked out okay because up until that point there was a rumor going around that I stuffed my bra. Those rumors were quashed real quick. Edit. I've heard that this is sexual assault or illegal, so I feel that I should clarify. It was during a game of truth or dare that a group of us were participating in by choice. Everyone was the same age, give or take a couple of months. I was once in an underwear party, during my studies in Sweden. I am from Spain, in a residence with 90 people, which was basically an entire flat full of students. This Brazilian friend of mine told me she wanted to do the underwear party for her 25th birthday, and at the beginning people was a bit embarrassed, but then more and more started to join and we end up like 35 people in a small bedroom in underwear playing truth or dare. And the girl was asked to point and kiss someone she was into, and she kissed me. Then I was asked the same and kissed her. then she kisses me again and now she is my ex. Edit, needless to say that I had a hard time avoiding to have a boner. Completely true story. When I was 18-19 or so, was pretty timid and still a virgin. I went to this party at my friend's and we started playing Todd and ended up with all the guys making out with all the girls. A group of maybe 7-8 guys and equal number of girls. This one girl there, she and I had been friends since 6th grade and I knew she'd always had a crush on me. All her friends kept trying to push things with her and I during the game. We made out, but that was the extent of it. At some point, we're all drunk and she loudly proclaims that I need to follow her inside and she's going to take my virginity. I saw this girl as more of a sister and had zero interest in that, so I declined. Next thing I know, she's gone and one of my best friends is also missing. At that I was kind of sad, but I wasn't really into her so I don't know why, I just didn't like the thought of those two. Anyway, they both emerge an hour or so later and it quickly spreads that they'd both gone into a bathroom and had sex. And then a few days later, I found out from my buddy that he caught the herp from that girl during that encounter. Only once in my life have I ever played truth or dare when there were an equal number of genders, everyone being single, and with the possibility of everyone possibly liking each other. A few of the other people had already dared other people to kiss each other. Person A dated person B to kiss person C. They were all just small becks. In one of the most bold moves in my whole life, I dared someone to kiss me. No one had been so direct. She said what kind of kiss, and I said any. And then we ended up making out a bunch from there until rest of night. I never had expected her to say yes, let alone anything more than a peck, and I wasn't even sure if she had liked me up until that point. It was quite memorable. It was the last time I ever played truth or dare and it was over 10 years ago. Definitely a highlight of my life. I was at a party, and someone dared this guy, let's call him Carlos, to streak around the block. It was dark out. Dude had no inhibitions. Shit. He was undressing before the guy even finished the dare, but then he was gone for a long time, like, too long. Eventually we got a call, please bring me clothes. Carlos had, apparently, streaked past a parked cop car, who offered chase, so he jumped a fence into a park with lots of heavy foliage. Would have been a good plan, except he accidentally jumped into the bushes behind an ongoing Little League game. He had to hide naked in the bushes until we could get him clothes on the DL so that he didn't wind up branded a pedo. I moved back home after 2 years of college in another city and started going to a school with a bunch of friends and others from my high school, and at the first party we were playing sociables. Before I moved away, I was a bit overweight and ashamed of my body, but in the 2 years away from home I had worked out and got pretty jacked. At this party, I was wearing a very baggy shirt. The crowd was mostly people I hadn't seen in a while, plus this girl I was interested in and a very good friend of mine, who knew I was into her and knew that I had got into good shape. He pulled the dare card, and dared us to switch clothes. I'm 6 feet 6 inches, she's 5 feet 8 inches and we had to swap shirts and pants. I had a baggy shirt and jeans on, she was in a crop top and shorts. We swapped. Everyone started to notice that I was a lot more jacked than before and she kept staring. When the game was done, she wouldn't let me switch back into my clothes, saying that she liked how they fit me. We went home together that night, started dating and are now married and expecting our first kid. Edit. I know this annoys some people. I don't care, but thanks for the awards, comments and updates. Never thought my top Reddit comment would be about a drinking game and wearing women's clothing. Appreciate all the dad advice too. Not very far, but here are my moments. 8th grade, on an outing with the gifted program at my small K-8 elementary school, I was there to kiss one of the girls in the group. She was a 7th grader, and quite pretty. Also, she was the principal's daughter. It was just a quick peck on the lips, but it did feel like getting even after all the time I'd spent in her dad's office through the years. College, my roommate and a few other friends are hanging at Rumi's dad's condominium while his dad is out of town. We all lived in the dorms at Cal Poly Pomona, This was in Westminster, which was a bit of a haul. After a few drinks we start playing truth or dare. I jumped naked into the pool on a dare, and was drunk enough to accept. One of the girls got dared to suck my roommate's dick. She accepted. The game ended with me, another girl, and one of the other guys simulating a DP while fully clothed. Summer before my freshman year in high school. My best friend's older brother was 2 years older than us. He had some girls over and we all got in the hot tub together. Wasn't truth or dare, but the girls basically said they'd get naked if we would. So that's how I ended up naked in the hot tub with my best friend, his older brother and his best friend, and two very attractive, well-rounded women. Unfortunately, that was the extent of the shenanigans, and it basically set me up to be disappointed in high school because all of a sudden I was thinking I was about to have 4 years of chilling naked in the hot tub with attractive girls on my agenda. Not so. Once in the locker rooms my friends dared me to flash them. They weren't perverted friends, even thought that seems perverted lmao. So, because I never really participated in truth or dare since I was always afraid I would get in trouble for doing the dare, as they're usually things that would get you in trouble, I took off my panties and flashed my friends for like 10 seconds. I remember us all laughing our heads off. This was years ago, but I still cringe at it. Like, no younger me don't flash people, that's dumb. I might even delete this comment from shame. TBH. Edit was putting the last sentence in. This is probably pretty tame, but I got dared to make out with pretty much all of my female friends. I really didn't want to, and was scared it would make things weird or ruin some friendships. We were all drunk, and they all reassured me that it wouldn't. It ruined all of them, because a month later I came out as bi, and all the friends I was dared to kiss assumed that I was hitting on them, trying to get with them that night. I came out and lost nearly an entire group of friends because they literally coerced me into kissing them a month before. Remember, I was staying with my family in a B&B for a weekend. There was other families there with teens the same age as me. I was about 13. It was a country home, so there was an adjacent shed, like a barn but not a barn. About 5 or 6 of us decided to play truth or dare. We were all excited because it was the dirty one, lol. I was all excited because I had a little crush on one of the guys there. The other kids knew I liked him and won the bottle. It was actually spin the bottle, but still, landed on me and him. It was a dare to go off behind the shed and kiss. It was first kiss and it wasn't a peck, lol. I was 15-17. And I had a girl that I was interested in my basement. We had a whole living room, set up with couches, coffee table big enough to study on, and a TV. We were studying, aka playing truth or dare. Eventually it got into sexual truths such as, if you dared you to do so and so, would you? I was dared to crawl around on my hands and knees and pretend to be a cat, meowing, grooming my paws, purring, rolling on my belly. Saw a look in her eyes that I'd never seen from anyone else. Anyway, she pulled her top down and let me touch her boobs, but with her bra on. Fucking worth it. I had some friends, including a coworker of mine, over. They were all hammered at my house and decided to skinny dip in my hot tub. I joined and was pretty sober. The coworker got dared to ride the hot tub jet right next to me. She dared me to stand up. We were pretty close together, so my raging hard-on just bounced right next to her face. That's how I found out said coworker had a thing for me. Almost a decade later, my wife and I invited her and her new boyfriend to drink with us on St. Patrick's Day. The boyfriend got ditched her and my wife and I had a threesome with her. She dared me to suck somebody's toes. I had a secret crush on her, so her toes were the obvious choice. I was terrified. I like feet, but I'd only ever admire them from a distance. She offered to clean hers. Walking into the kitchen to grab a paper towel, she threatened to make me do burpees while yelling my desire to suck her toes if I chicken out. I got down on my knees in front of her, trembling. A friend whispered encouragement in my ear. With a burst of fuck it energy, I dived in. I avoided the big toe she was offering and put the next two in my mouth. I sucked in as my lips wrapped around them, slightly bobbing. I was committed. The room was screaming in disbelief. She pulled back her feet at the sensation. I returned to my chair as the room exploded in congratulations, laughter, and general shock. As the room settled, I realized a crucial fact. I was next in the game, and I knew exactly what to do. I pointed at her and said her name. Truth or dare? Her face was overcome with fear as she realized her situation. Retaliation was in order. To her left, a friend insisted she say dare, as it was only fair given my bravery. I repeated my question.